Hey guys, we are here at the Queen's Public Library for the official book launch of Mohani Stockwell's Where is Home. We had a conversation with her a couple of months on the Let's Talk with Lakshmi TV show, talking all about her book, but now we're back here today for the official book launch. So Mohani, welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmi. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So I know you just came back from London, so thank you so much for coming in. I mean, this must be really, really exciting for you. I know the book was officially released in February of this year, but now this is your first official book launch. How does that feel?
Feel very, very great. It's a bit nervous, but I'm looking forward to have a big audience here.
So tell us a little bit about Where is Home.
But where is home? I still have not made that decision yet. As I said earlier, my heart has three divisions. Part is Guyana, part is England, and part is America. So it's very difficult for me to say, well, America is my home or Guyana. So it's a decision to be made.
Now, you have spent like 4 decades of traveling and changing homes from, Guyana to London to New York City to Florida to all over. In your heart of hearts, where would you say home is?
Well, they say home is where your heart is. And I think my heart has so many divisions. I just came back from Spain. I love Spain. I'm very super right now, but I still think Guyana, America, and England has special part of my life.
Now, I know you left Guyana to go to England to study nursing. What was that experience like?
That was an awesome experience because leaving home for the first time was very difficult. Arriving in London was culture shock, but adaptation is very, very important. And adapting to life in London it took a long time, but we get accustomed to the way of life, the way of things happening there. And as I said earlier, if you can adapt to in a country, you'll do well.
Now, what was the inspiration behind writing this book?
The inspiration is all the experiences I went through, the traveling, my life history as a nurse, working in many different hospitals, and all the different experience I went through, plus being a patient.
Now, one thing that's really exciting is here at the Queen's Public Library, there is an Indo-Caribbean section of books. And your book, Where is Home, is going to be featured here. It'll be placed here on the shelves. And people could come in here and they can, borrow the book and read that. I mean, you are adding to the collection of this library here. How does that feel that, the children growing up here in America that are born here or coming here from the Caribbean can just come into a library and pick up your book?
That feels great. It's a beautiful feeling. I would love all the children to read this book because it talks about what it feels to be an immigrant and their experience. It also correlates certain things about my grandparents who were immigrants when they went to British Guyana. With my life, there were some similarities finding our home because my grandparents had no one when they went to British Guyana. And when I came to America, I didn't have anyone to help me. So I stood alone and I went through some hard times, but with my determination and perseverance, I was able to achieve all the short-term goals I set forth.
Mohani, if you could think of the most powerful section of your book, or the part that touched you the most in your book, what would that be?
I would say the part I wrote about my father, my hero. He instilled so many virtues into my life as a child, and that was able, whatever he taught me, to be honest to myself, truthful, to be determined and hard work, you can become successful. Those were the virtues I set for myself, and I was able to deliver on that.
Now, where can one pick up Where is Home?
Where is Home is in Barnes & Noble, it's in Amazon.com, and it's on most bookshelf companies.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's get inside. Let's get the
Thank
book
you.
launch started. And this is really a great day.
Thank you.
Libby provides an educational experience to succeed in today's complex and changing business environment.
And supports the immediate efforts of our students while laying the foundation for lifelong learning.
I want to move up to management, so I'm in the hospitality management program.
I'm passionate about the safety of our community, so I'm in the homeland security and security management program.
We are a military-approved school, and we participate in the Yellow Ribbon program.
Libby provides lifetime job placement assistance.
To learn more about our degrees and certificates, visit our website at libby.edu.
2 months ago, after my mother's hospitalization, the doctors wanted to put her in hospice. And I'm like, they deemed her terminal. And I saw Mr. Thakur, I think the founder, on TV, and he was advertising this Indian community in Kings Harbor. It's a great Indian community where my mother feels at home, and she expresses her happiness to me whenever I come.
I know when I come, I feel happy. I stay a couple days and I see everybody, and I'm so happy.
I brought my mother here like a month and a half ago, and I haven't regretted my decision. It's one of the best decisions I've made for my mother. It's a home away from home.
Planning a vacation? Contact TravelSpan for the best service and deals to Guyana, Trinidad, the Caribbean, and anywhere in the world. Ask about our special Caribbean packages, our cruise packages, and our escorted tours to Dubai and India. Contact TravelSpan now at 718-845-0437 or book online at travelspan.com. TravelSpan, a finer quality in travel.
So, the woman of the hour, Mohani, she wrote this really personal memoir about her several journeys going from Guyana and a lot of North America and Europe. So this book, Where is Home, probably rings true for a lot of people here. The woman with the Kimar was talking about it. Where is home for her? Is this home because she spent all her life here? Or is it where her heart is, where maybe her childhood was in Guyana, right? My dad does that to me all the time. He's like, I want to go home, but he spent 50 years or something of his life here in New York, and he's talking about home, a place that he spent maybe 17 years, right? So it's an interesting thing. So I'd love to hear where home is for you, Mohani. Please come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohani, also Doreen. Most people know me by Doreen. This book is about my grandparents who were indentured laborers who left India. Their journey started from India to British Guyana. And my journey from Guyana to all other countries as an immigrant. I will read a piece of my pieces from my book. It started in Florida. I have been a nurse for 46 years, traveling and working in many, many countries. So while I retired, I started to think, what am I going to do with my time? As I was sitting in my garden, as I sat in my beautiful garden in Florida, overlooking the lake, where the calmness of the water looked so serene, the only movement was made by two beautiful swans, with their heads held graciously high, with a look of such contentment that it took my breath away. I marveled at nature in its full glory. At this point, I reflected back to where my life started over half a century ago in a place called Bengal in British Guyana. I couldn't help thinking of my beautiful petite grandmother who left the shores of India when she was only 3 years old. The story of this girl's life began on the plains of northern India in a poor village called Aligarh in the year 1891. Her life started traumatically with the death of her mother, leaving her father to take care of her and her 9-year-old brother. So my great-grandfather, Channon, was in a state of despair. He decided to take his baby daughter and his older son to British Guyana. He heard so much about Guyana, he would make a better living there, so he decided to take them over to Guyana. In the year 1894, they landed on the shore of British Guyana. Grandma was only 3 years old. So you can imagine her life. When grandfather, they went to Cove and John, he started to work as a driver. He died within 2 years, leaving these two small children to fend for themselves. So that's part of my grandparents' life. And my grandfather now, he left India when he was much older. He was 18 years old in 1902. So he was older and he knew all his family. He left without saying goodbye to his family because they didn't want him to leave. So he came to British Guyana and he went to Springland to start his indentureship. When he finished, he started to go different plantations to look for jobs. He ended up in Bengal, where my grandmother, the struggles that they had, they went to Cove and John, so they were, she was 5, he was 9, her brother. He was dancing for money and to take care of his sister. So I can imagine their life, I don't know, all over the place. Happened so they went to Bengal, where this rich family by the name of Pawaru accepted grandma as their daughter, and she lived there. When she was 14, my grandfather ended up working in the same plantation. So my life started similar like that. My life was, growing up in Bengal was one of a beautiful place. It takes a community to bring up a child, to be rounded. I had love, security, and it was a fabulous time of my life. I was brought up in a beautiful big home. Never knew what it was to be poor. It happened so my father did well, working hard in the fields. My father decided to buy a property in Plantation Highbury. Never knew about Plantation Highbury. It was a place 50 miles away from Bengal. Bengal was a very cultivated village, beautiful. I was about 10. Moving to Plantation Highbury was a very traumatic changes for all of us because now we are going to live in like a forest. It was a place where there was no transportation, one bus. You had to walk to school. So I had to walk 6 miles to school. When the rainfall, the road was, there was no road. It was all like bricks. So going to school was very, very difficult, and it was one of hardship, but it was a treasured time of my life in Plantation Highbury because we learned to cultivate the land and know more about nature. You see alligators, a lot of boa constrictors, a different type of life. There was no school except in the year 1964. There was a man by the name of Mr. Johnson. He decided to build the first school there, and then it became populated. I left British Guyana in 1971 to study nursing in England. I wrote much about this book, about indentureship, also about being an immigrant, traveling to different places, and how we have to face adversity. I'm going to England in 1971. I was young, about 18 years old. I read a lot of books. We all studied British history, literature. All of our studies were from England. So I thought nursing would be beautiful out there, beautiful hospital, nicely decorated. When the plane landed, I could not believe these buildings were all gray looking, the smoke, coming out from the chimneys. So I was shocked. First, I wrote to my headmaster saying to him, he said England was one of the most beautiful cities. All I could see is gray houses, But after I entered the place, learning more about it, I found out the beauty of England. Studying in England, I decided, I did my orthopedic, then I did my RN. I went to Scotland. I wanted to be a midwife. I could have studied in London, the same hospital is very, very famous throughout the world, but I wanted to travel. Going to Scotland was very difficult because here I'm all alone, about 23 years old, don't know where I was going. But I took my 5 years worth in a suitcase, went down to Scotland. There I met a lot of beautiful people. I did my year of nursing, and then I went to Europe, 8 countries traveling, and we had a great time with some other nurses. I came back to London and I get married, decided to immigrate to Canada. Well, life in Canada was beautiful for the first 3 months, 4 months. We bought our house, we started decorating it. I became sick. Being a nurse, I thought I would have the best treatment, but I did not. Life took a different phase. I ended up in the hospital for 1 month, and I thought I would die. I made one vow: if ever I get better, I will be the best advocate and nurse of everyone. Anyway, I believe in fate and destiny. Somehow my visa, resident visa, came through to come to America. So I had to make a lot of decisions at that time. So I had a young baby, 1 month old. I said to my husband, what should we do? It's an opportunity. I always wanted to come to America because I had everything in England, beautiful 2 homes. But what is it I want to come to America for? I don't know. There got to be some burning desire. Maybe to help my family, just my nieces and nephews, because I'm the youngest daughter. I had no one else. Anyway, we come to America. Life was very tough as an immigrant. I became sick again. And everyone who would come from being an immigrant, coming here, they know one thing: you have to have medical insurance. So becoming sick, being a nurse and having some money, I said, geez, what's going to happen? All my money will go. I have no family members, just a few friends. But I believe in my faith, my determination. I said, I have to get better. During that time, while I was sick, same thing happened. I came out of the hospital. I heard bad news, my brother died. After that, my father passed away. But I never give up. And in this book, I wrote about all my troubles and having faith and determination and perseverance that will carry you through. Not to give up your hope and not to give up your goals. So it's a true story of all the things that happened, but never to give up, to always stand true to yourself. And every young person who ever come over here, whoever want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, teacher, once they set that goal, you can climb that mountain. Nothing will stop you from becoming who you want to become.
2 months ago, after my mother's hospitalization, the doctors wanted to put her in hospice. And I'm like, they deemed her terminal. And I saw Mr. Thakur, I think the founder, on TV, and he was advertising this Indian community in Kings Harbor. It's a great Indian community where my mother feels at home, and she expresses her happiness to me whenever I come.
I know when I come, I feel happy. I stay a couple days and I see everybody, and I'm so happy.
I brought my mother here like a month and a half ago, and I haven't regretted my decision. It's one of the best decisions I've made for my mother. It's a home away from home.
Libby provides an educational experience to succeed in today's complex and changing business environment.
And supports the immediate efforts of our students while laying the foundation for lifelong learning.
I want to move up to management, so I'm in the hospitality management program.
I'm passionate about the safety of our community, so I'm in the homeland security and security management program.
We are a military-approved school, and we participate in the Yellow Ribbon program.
Libby provides lifetime job placement assistance.
To learn more about our degrees and certificates, visit our website at libby.edu.
Travel span soaring above the rest with newer aircrafts. Eastern Airlines with non-stop flights from JFK, New York and Miami to Guyana. Travel span serving the community for more than 22 years. Fly in comfort, perfect schedules, reliability and affordable fares. It's Travelspan and Eastern Airlines. Come experience the flying difference with Eastern Airlines and Travelspan. Book or make your reservations at 718-845-0437 or travelspan.com.